let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me...
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Vengeful Torture, you can call me VT, and a new video just surfaced today looking at Monster Hunter Stories. And while I'm not exactly a huge fan of the prospect and the direction that it's going, it does seem to be new and different, so we might as well take a look at it, right? Because I checked out the video initially, and I was, I don't want to say impressed, but it wasn't what I expected, in a good way. So let's just kind of analyze it a little bit, not too much in depth, because quite frankly I don't have a lot of time. But you know, it'll be kind of fun to look at it. So you can see right off the start that the character customization is very similar to what we've seen in Monster Hunter before. It's primarily facial based, obviously, and you know, you have quite a few options, but mainly the style is different. It's very anime-like, right? So everything that you do to change your character's look is seen a lot more. You're going to obviously see the effects a lot more than you would in normal Monster Hunter games, simply because in normal Monster Hunter games you're covered with armor anyway, and not that you won't in this one, but because of the anime style, because of the gameplay style, you're going to be seeing your character's face a lot more. So it seems to be a little more important. They seem to take some note of that, and the fact that what you do has a larger effect. Like, you get a few more options, and everything seems to take a little more of a dramatic approach, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. It works for the game, right? It does seem to do some extravagant things in here. There's quite a few different facial expressions, as well as hairstyles and some vibrant colors, but overall you're not doing much else besides just changing your face, right? And it's fun, right? And that's the whole theme of this game, pretty much. It's just to be fun. So character customization style, let's take the next step on here, and you can see the first screen right here is actually really important. It shows a lot, right? So we can see right off the bat that we have a little icon above our character's head. It's a little mount icon, which is kind of cool. I mean, we knew that we were going to be able to mount monsters anyway. We've seen that in the videos. And right off the bat we can see it. It's fun. We also see in the bottom left that there are a few other monsters that we have in our party, so not just the Urkusu on our left. It looks like we can actually take multiple monsters in with us, and I think that's been confirmed before as well, where you only really see one monster and you have like a party of different monsters. So it looks like a lot of the focus is really building that party that you have and making it as strong as possible. We also see in the bottom center we have three little hearts that must be probably something. It can't be our health, because our health is in the bottom right and our monster's health that's with us is in the bottom left, so I'm not sure exactly what that is. That's something. It might be the cat that's with us. I don't know. You know, who knows? I'm sure it's probably someone that can speak Japanese knows, but I can't. We also see in the bottom right corner, most of the bottom right corner, is a map, a pretty large map from the look of things, and it looks like it's divided into different biomes, which is interesting, because if we'll see later in the video here, actually quite soon, that monsters don't really seem to care what biome they're in. So, or maybe they do, and it just sort of works out that the ones that are in here are just sort of in there for the time being. But it looks like we'll be able to encounter, hopefully, a lot of different monsters, especially based on our party on the left. It looks like we're crossing multiple different generations here, so we'll be able to see, hopefully, a plethora of different monsters that come throughout the series in the different biomes. Also in the top right, we have a 0 out of 10 with an egg sign, some sort of collectible probably for the biome that you're in, or maybe just the whole map. Maybe this isn't the only map we see, right? And in the top left, we have some sort of timer going on, right? I'm not sure exactly what that is, or some sort of creepy-looking pot bong symbol. Who knows? You can see that the world looks actually very vibrant. Like, it looks really good. I hesitate to say that it looks graphically better than Monster Hunter games in the past. Different style, yes, but regardless, it's very pretty. Like, there's a little bit of environment going on with the petals falling and stuff. You can see some of the monsters are sitting out there. There's a blue crystal over there on the left that we can probably harvest. As you can see, we're about to go harvest in near a tree right now, which, you know, it still keeps sort of that Monster Hunter feel to it. If you're still exploring, you're still to gather items and build armor and whatnot. But again, I still think that the main theme of this is trying to train up your monsters and make them, as strong as possible. So we're hopping on our monster now, and you can see that we can control it. We can sort of speed up a little bit, use some of its attacks, if you will. I know that's sort of an attack by Urkusu, but mainly looks like it's just a way to get around. Now you can see that there are a bunch of different monsters on here. We see Kuropeko and a Keizu and some herbivores sitting around. And so, like I said, it doesn't seem like they're like Keizu. we've seen him sort of in these the sort of woodland biomes before, but usually it's at the base of, like a snowy biome or something. That didn't seem to be, depending on where we're at, maybe that's just sort of what he's going on. Up further ahead, you can sort of make out a Rathalos. We'll pass by him later as well. So it sort of fits with monsters in their biomes. It sort of doesn't. That just might be something that, maybe this is a demo, I don't know. And so the battles in this are sort of interesting. They're Final Fantasy based, whereas you need to interact with the monsters in order to actually start the battle, so it's not like free battling. It's not like a free roam sort of thing, which is kind of good, because with so many monsters in such close proximity, that can get really hairy really fast, and we really don't want that. That would be really discouraging, I think, to the average player and everything. So you can see here we're about to start a battle, and we're going to go into it, and this is where the meat of the video is, right? So we can see everything that our character renders are really looking good. For the most part, the graphical quality has stayed in the battle. You can see that we're using some sweet armor, and our Urkusu is ready to fight. It looks fucking menacing as hell. It looks like we're getting some tutorial messages here or something from our cat companion, and then now we can see how the battle's going to phase out. So you can see it is still sticking with Final Fantasy base. It seems to be primarily sort of turn-based. In typical Monster Hunter fashion, we don't know how much health this Kuropeko has, which is nice. I still like that, right? It still sort of adds that little bit of mystery and a little bit of challenge of, do I take this risk or not? But in the right, there's a lot of options here. And like I said, I don't speak Japanese. I don't know what all of them are, but we can sort of figure it out. So, starting with the bottom right, flee, right? Probably running away, right? The standard Pokemon, let's get the fuck out of here. Right next to that on the bottom is more than likely items, and I'm pretty sure they go through the video later. The bottom left corner is your monster team. The top left corner, so you can actually switch out your monsters, so you don't have to stick with Urkusu, and they do show that later in the video, right? The top left corner looks to be monster attacks. The top right corner looks to be character attacks, and the top middle looks to be joint attacks, with a special ability, the largest button right in the center. So let's watch this battle sort of play out. I'm not going to edit it too much. We're just going to sort of run right through it. So you can see we get to choose a few different options here. Only 3 really for our attack. So it looks like either a strong attack, some sort of maybe special or defense attack, and then a quick attack. So it's all sort of a balance-based thing, which is interesting. It takes a lot of the traditional Monster Hunter style out of it, or something that we see in Monster Hunter on the iOS. So, and then we can see our Urkusu attack did a lot more damage than us, which obviously makes sense. It's a monster. It's much stronger. You can see that there's a little attack bar guiding between the monsters that we're focused on, and that was a pretty sweet attack right there too, the joint attack. So we're just waiting for Urkusu to attack now, Kuropeko to attack now. But you can see some of the options on the right are still changing out, and so it looks like while the fighting is not exactly super complex, there are definitely enough options where you need to consider what you're doing here. You can see that the middle button just activated to a level 1, so it looks like we can do our level 1 attack here, a joint attack, but we're not going to quite yet. Just going to do a joint attack when we're mounted on our monster, which did some damage and knocked over Kuropeko, which is pretty sweet. And we're up to a level 2 attack for our special attack, and it looks like we're about to activate that. So these are very interesting attack. They have all of them seem to have a custom animation and everything to go with it, which is pretty sweet. And I mean, they look fun. It looks really good. It looks like a blast. It looks like it should be super powerful, and it is. 971 damage compared to what we were doing before around the 100s, which is pretty fantastic. But again, the battle isn't over yet, which is what I like. It's still got, this battle still lasts a while, and there's still a challenge and risk you have to take with it. See here, we sort of have like a Dynasty Warriors sword lock thing going on. That's always really fun. Another depth of it, if you will. And you can see we're about to change out our monsters that we have on us right now. So instead of Urkusu, they're going to choose a Naruga Kuruga, which is sort of interesting. That you can have all these different monsters with you. They're all super strong. You can play to those advantages if you need. If something's weak to fire, you might bring a Rathian out or something like that. Or you need someone that's probably a monster that's a little quicker. Naruga Kuruga would be a great choice over something else. Or you just need a tank to someone to take the damage for you. There's definitely some strategy in here. You can see that the Naruga Kuruga has a mount on top of him, so that looks really sweet. So of course you can hop right on that monster too. And who hasn't wanted to do that? And that's exactly what we're doing. So you can see here, there was the item menu right there. You can carry quite a few items with you, and it looks like it takes up one of your turns. I decided not to use them, sadly, so we didn't get to see them right away. I stand corrected. There is an item use right in there. Use a potion. So it does take up your turn, but we let Nurugakuru attack for us. And it seems like there's a lot of favoring on attacking for our side. Kuropeko hasn't gotten a lot in, which is interesting. It doesn't seem to be all that balanced, but maybe there's just, you know, something else going on with it. Looks like we can give buffs and use items on our monsters, which is interesting. Here's Kuropeko's attack. There we go. And we're going to hop on. It looks like we're going to do our joint attack against Kuropeko. This is a level 1 Nurugakuru, so it won't be as strong as the Urukatsu level 2 that we just saw. But this one's really sweet. Obviously, it plays to, you know, the winged bats, you know, stereotypical type, and it's really badass. Got this huge animation, but sadly, it only does, you know, 568 damage, which is a lot, but nowhere near the level 2 that we got. So that's sort of one of the things you have to take into consideration. Regardless, it does kill the Kuropeko, which is pretty sweet. And we'll see here that all the monsters actually seem to get some XP. Either that, or that's just the animation showing where they're standing at. So we can see they all rise up right there. So the battle's over, and we can see that there's a lot of the world around here that we could explore a little bit, but we're going to zoom right past them. And there's that Rathlos that I mentioned earlier. So all sorts of different monsters in the different biomes, it seems to be. And there's also a lot of gathering nodes around here as well. Not sure what the whole point of fighting herbivores would be, maybe just to rank up a little bit, but they don't seem like they would offer much challenge. Probably not a lot of XP or something, so maybe just sort of for parts probably, if you ever need them. But you can see there's a large town here that we're going to enter, and they don't show much of the town. Sadly, most of the video they show is actually just some dialogue, so a lot of the game is going to be story-based probably around some of this dialogue that you're about to see here in a minute. And then sadly, they don't show a lot, but there does seem to be a pretty large city, actually. So we'll skip past this, and you can see us talking to a vendor, which is interesting, because this screen is sort of important to me, because if you look at the rest of the game's graphics compared to this one, there's a lot of textures and things that are a little blurry, and that just don't seem to match up with the rest of the game. It just sort of seems interesting that they would, you know, neglect something that you're going to go frequent to a lot. You're definitely going to be frequenting the vendors, and this herb in the top right is just not up to par. But for some reason we can buy donuts now, so that's a plus. Not sure what they do or what they are, but regardless, that's sweet, literally. And that's pretty much it. It ends with just some more dialogue, and with this creepy ass stare on this guy right here, and that's all I have to show. So it does show us a lot. The battle mechanics are definitely a little more in depth than I thought they were going to be. It does look fun that you can bring a lot of different monsters with you, and there's definitely a lot of options open for that, and there's a lot of strategy involved. I do like that you still have your armor and weapons, but they really don't seem to be that important. So the one thing that I've always liked is that Monster Hunter armors look really good. You know, in past games they've sort of been pixelated, so you can't really make them out. In this game that doesn't seem to be the case. You can really make out the armor details very nicely. Sadly, it doesn't seem to be as important in this game as ones in the past. Not to say that it's not still going to be exciting and fun to make new armors and weapons, but regardless, you know, it just seems to be a little different, which is nothing wrong with that. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's anything I missed in the comments below. Leave a like, and yeah, catch you guys later.